Dear student, my name is Vinay Kumar Singh. I am Deputy Director at Indian Society of International Law, New Delhi. I am going to speak on topic of rights of internally displaced persons in the module of International Human Rights Law. Topic rights of internally displaced person is important nowadays, reason being that earlier we have the soft law, now there is emerging a hard law, though in a specific context and in specific regions. Why there is a need to go ahead and to look about, is it possible to provide more rights to IDPs? The present data at UNHCR which suggest us to presently around 28.8 million IDP around the world, and this global number of IDP has steadily increasing. If you look at in 1997 around 17 million IDP has been found. At the end of 2012, now we are about 28.8 million. If you look at IDMC reports which suggest us that there are newly regions emerging, particularly in Asia, Africa, where more displacement are taking place. The conflict in Syria and the Democratic Republic of Congo were responsible for around half of the new displacement with 2.4 million and 1 million respectively, while an estimated around 5 lakh people fled from homes in both Sudan and India. The Sub-Saharan Africa, which is the one of the largest total number of IDP has been taken note, which is hosting around 10.4 million, an increase of 7.5% compared with the year before. American region hosted the second largest number of IDP in 1920-12 data. Colombia remains the country with the highest number of IDP in the world, with a total of between 4.9 and 5.5 million according to IDMC data. The country's internal armed conflict forced an estimate of 2,30,000 people to flee their homes during the years. As I said that recent years has seen more increase in the number of IDP, which quite evident if you look the data provided with related to area Middle East and North Africa, where 2.5 million people were forced to flee their homes. There were almost 6 million IDPs in the region at the end of 2012, a rise of 40% on the 2011. The figure continuing still rising, and in 2013, if you look Asia showed the second highest increase in the new displacement after the Middle East and North Africa, with 1.4 million people forced to flee their homes during 2012. These data suggest that there are need to presently to address issues related rights of the IDP, and to certain extent that there are some regional instrument has come up at international level, which has boost or which has provided more rights to the IDPs in a legal terms. Now, before going to the discuss about right to IDP, there is need to also look categories of the displacement. That's one is often we see that international discourse, there are 3 categories of the displacement we quite take into note. One is conflict induced displacement, another disaster induced displacement, and third is development induced displacement. The conflict induced displacement is not limited to be seen in the context of intentional or non-intentional armed conflict. It can even taken into note that internal tension and disturbance which also create large displaced people. So, the terms internal tension and disturbance refer to a situation will fall short of the armed conflict, but involves use of force, and to certain extent the link which will suggest us to have more right for IDP is quite evident if you look at repressive measures by the government agents. Now, that examples of tension and disturbance could be seen by giving certain more examples: riots, isolated sporadic acts of violence, maybe it is opposed to military operations carried out by the armed force or armed group. Also includes violent ethnic conflicts not amounting to hostility. So, the conflict induced displacement is one of the most what you can say produced IDP. Then we have disaster induced displacement. It could be a natural or human made disaster. Droughts, floods, earthquake, typhoons, natural disasters or famine could be an example to understand. Development induced displacement, quite often India is also one of the become recently country who has produced lot of development related induced displacement. It could be forced removal from one's home, from home area, relocation to another area, and India is seeing that and witnessing a grave and controversial pattern of development process which has also led to tension. Let me to tell you that there are presently 3 international instruments which could be a point for all of us to discuss about right of the IDP. The first international instruments, which is known as UN Guiding Principles on Internal Displacement, adopted in 1999. The second is Lake Protocol. Then third we have Kampala Convention in 2009. The first international instruments UN Guiding on Internal Displacement is one instrument which is known as a soft law in human rights law matters related with the IDP. Now, there is need to look about what was issues and which are the forums being involved to draft a UN Guiding Principles, and also those issues, what issues basically brought and has been discussed before the forum which is basically responsible to draft UN Guiding Principles on Internal Displacement. As I mentioned earlier, that number of IDP is increasing more than the refugee. This become a quite important for the international community immediately address this issue. And this call was being understood very well by the Secretary General, United Nations Secretary General. In 1992, UN Secretary General has appointed a commission, United Nations Commission on Human Rights, and called them to appoint a representative on the issue of IDP and asked to examine standards of the existing international human rights law, humanitarian law and refugee law, and also asked them to look about their applicability to the protection of and relief assistance to the IDP. So, mandate is also to a certain extent limited only talking about in terms of protection and relief assistance. For the representative who is going to draft even a declaration on rights of IDP. This is one attempt at one set of institution at international institution which could be taken to note. Another ILA has also adopted a draft declaration of principles of international law on internally displaced person at the Taipei conference. Now, let me to tell you that's Francis M. Deng, who was appointed the representative with the 3 more legal experts, Robert Goldman, Walter Kalin, Manfred Noah. This group has presented a preliminary study in 1993 and then came up with the reports which is divided into 2 parts, which came in one part came in 96, another part in 98, and this report is known as a compilation analysis of legal norms related to IDP. And on the basis of these reports, this committee also this whole group has also drafted UN declaration on UN guiding principles on internal displacement. This instrument also brought a very important principles which is now emerging to be revisited and re-explained the concept of principles of sovereignty as responsibility. Deng has given conception of principles sovereignty as responsibility, which has become one of the center pillar of this UN guiding principles. Let me briefly tell you about the finding of the legal experts groups. This reports found that existing law, once we are saying existing law, it take into that human rights law, humanitarian law, refugee law, covered many aspects of particular relevance to IDP. But report has also mentioned there are areas, there remained areas in which the law failed to provide sufficient protection for them. Now, the issues before this group was, is there necessity to create a legal status for IDP? There is also a task to define the IDP. So, this is two issues which remains very what you can say important for this working group to find, to bring a more detailed analysis into it. On this issue of is there any necessity to create a new legal status for IDP, views of the scholars are divided on this issue. Some scholars argue that IDP are as individuals, remains in the territory already entitled to the whole range of international human rights law and humanitarian law instruments. UNHCR also added to the point that giving more overemphasis to in-country protection, the institution of asylum, the concept under refugee law could be undermined. More or less ICRC is also having similar opinion with related to issues to create a legal rights for the IDP. But there is another views on the legal status of IDP, and that has also picked up recent years more, and which has basically asked international community to go beyond the guiding principles and look forward a hard regimes on this aspect. The argument is that there is a widespread lack of respect for the rule of law in various regions, and that leads to a considerable factual lack of protection for IDPs, which even has jeopardized the remedial effect of the UN guiding principles in general understanding, and has also acknowledged the fact to consider the legal status of IDP. So, this view was during the draft of guiding principles was only in minority, but recent years as the data also as the situation which is being taken to note in international arena suggests that, and also the number of IDP increasing more than refugees suggests us to look beyond the guiding principles. With related to issue of legal definition of IDP, if you look at para 2 of the principle, which says that for the purpose of these principles, IDP are persons or group of persons who have been forced or obliged to flee or to leave their home or place of habitual residence, in particular as a result of or in order to avoid the effects of armed conflict, situation of generalized violence, violations of human rights or natural or human made disasters, and who have not crossed an internationally recognized state border. If you see that para 2 of the principles, it is indicative. It is not a legal definition. It is a list of categories of IDP. So, list is not exhaustive. The reports suggest that, and it was presumed that becoming displaced, still you are within the one's own territory. Once the nation's territory does not confer special legal status in the same sense as being given in refugee status. One more understanding at the time of the drafting of UN Guiding Principles was that IDP need not and cannot be granted a special legal status comparable to refugee status. As we know that refugees are granted a special status because they have lost the protection of their own country and therefore are in need of additional protection. So, argument is remain to be seen into it, and IDP do not need such a substitute protection, and this be prevailed at the time of adoption of para 2 of the UN Guiding Principles. So, could not be possible to have some sort of legal definition to be placed into the UN Guiding Principles on internal displacement. As I said, that there is a shift in approach on legal status of IDP can be seen by the enforcement of Great Lake Protocol in 2006 and Kampala Convention 2009, which confers IDP with legal status. Article 7(4) of the Kampala Convention underlines that members of armed groups shall be held criminally responsible for their acts which violate the rights of IDP under international and national law. So, this is one of the robust development, or some to certain extent we can say modest development. The term IDP has and of itself has been largely descriptive earlier. In some region or states has not recently been conferred specific legal rights. Now, let me to tell you about the importance of the UN Guiding Principles. UN Guiding Principles provided for the states to bring an operational mechanism to enforce the guiding principles and their national territory. As still it has been, UN Guiding Principles suggest that the matters remains within the concerns of the national territory. Once you are going to look how the operational mechanism has to be put in place in a nation, there is a need to look at what are the phases of displacement, and to address those phases of displacement is one of the important tasks for the UN Guiding Principles. So, UN Guiding Principles has made to be comprehensively to apply to all phases of displacement. There are three important phases which could be seen to be addressed by UN Guiding Principles: protection from displacement, protection during displacement, protection after displacement. UN Guiding Principles on IDP consist 30 principles, 5 sections, which has provided significant mechanisms, measures for protection of IDPs. So, briefly, guiding principles are being used to develop certain operational mechanisms to ensure protection of IDP in a state territory. And guiding principles is considered soft law, not as a legally non-binding obligations upon states, are meant to guide the application of protection for IDP within national laws, as well as encourage the adoption of international norms of protection for IDP in national legislation. Now, the three phases, as I earlier mentioned: protection before displacement, protection during displacement, protection after displacement. There are, on these three phases, UN Guiding Principles has provided elaborate mechanisms and rights. Article 5 to 9 covers protection before displacement. Article 10 to 23 covers protection and assistance during displacement. Article 28 to 30 deals about protection after displacement, that is known as a durable solution for IDP. There is a important segment also you will find in UN Guiding Principles, principles relating to humanitarian assistance, Article 24 to 27, which led to establishment of international institutions, particularly Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Assistance, OCHA. The guiding principles relating to protection from displacement, from provision 5 to principle 5 to principle 9, guarantees this phase. Principle 5 emphasizes the importance of compliance with international law for the prevention of internal displacement. Principle 6 is one of the most important principles, which are now being more elaborated by having the national set framework. And this principle 6 talks about rights not to be arbitrarily displaced, and this principle is quite been used with related to development induced displacement. This principle is already been available in various human rights and as well as in other international instruments. Para 2 of the principle 6 says, or even what you can say, set forth categories of prohibited displacement, including displacement occasioned by armed conflict. This principle reflects several provisions of the 4 Geneva Conventions and additional protocols. As earlier I mentioned that sections principle 6 to subclass C is going to become more important, particularly with related to development induced displacement. India is now is required to examine and to bring this principles into the place into the national legislation. The principle 6 to prohibit displacement in case of large scale development projects that are not justified by compelling and overriding public interest. This principle 6 to C placed a proportionality principles, which suggests that the large scale development project only be allowed if it could be justified a compelling and overriding public interest. Another added provision which give more protection to our rights to IDP, that's principle 6.3, which says that displacements shall last no longer than required by circumstances. So, if the circumstances get over, then displacement should not be allowed to be continued. Principle 8 prohibit displacement that is carried out in a manner that violates the rights to life, dignity, liberty, security of those affected, guarantees to basically civil and political rights. Principle 9 obliges states to protect indigenous people, minorities, peasant, pastoralists and other groups with a special dependency on and attachment to their lands from displacement, more or less to displacement related with the farmer's land. Principle 7 outlines the responsible authorities have to explore all feasible alternatives before taking any decision requiring the forced displacement of persons. Furthermore, if no alternative to displacement exists, the authorities are expected to minimize the scope and adverse effects of the resettlement. Principle 7 is one of the also important to be taken into note by the national law on the issues of displacement, development, which is also producing a displacement. Now, the important another segment is protection during displacement, in which principle 10 is important. It is a non-derogable right for IDP, and subparagraph 8 to D talks about non-exhaustive list of acts that threaten to right to life and is prohibited, and this guarantees extends even in the situation of armed conflict. Principle 11 talks about rights of IDP to dignity, physical, mental and moral integrity. Principle 12 deals about rights to liberty and security of the person. Principle 14 talks about rights to liberty of movement and freedom to choose his or her residence. Principle 15 talk about rights to leave their country and to seek asylum in other country. Principle 16 talk right to know the fate and whereabouts of missing relative. Principle 17 talks about rights to respect of his or her family life. Principle 18 talks about rights to an educated standard of living. Principle 20 talks about rights to recognition before the law. Principle 21 talks about rights not to be deprived of property. Principle 23 talks about right to education. It is more about economic, social, cultural rights also being guaranteed under principles 16 to 23. As I said, there is one important section, that is section 4, which has led to establish institution which could improve the coordination and delivery of relief to IDP. If you look at this, section 4 has allowed to respond to the situation of IDP by establishing certain assist groups, then establishing committee, and then culminating the form of establishment of Office for Coordination of the Humanitarian Affairs. So, it started with 1991 establishing a emergency relief coordinator, then in 1992 interagency standing committee came, then in 97 executive committee on humanitarian affairs came in, and these all culminated in establishment of Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. Presently, there are many humanitarian institutions which is providing protection to IDP. Some of them could be highlighted in this discussion: UNDP, United Nations Development Program, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee, UNHCR, United Nations Children Fund, World Food Programs, Food Agriculture Organization, World Health Organization, International Committee of the Red Cross, International Federation of Red Cross, International Organization of Migration, and other NGOs are involved in wide range of protection activities for IDP. Next segment in this discussion would be guiding principles relating to protection after displacement, which is principle 28 to 30, which provides durable solutions to the needs of IDP, and it provides measures which could give a right to IDP to return, resettle, and reintegrate. These durable solutions could be seen that has to be been actualized in recent years by resolutions of UN Security Councils, through international agreements, recent state practice, bilateral or multilateral agreement, which ensured rights to return for IDP. For instance, UN Security Council Resolution 876 of 19 October 93 on the situation of Abkhazia, which affirmed the rights of refugees and displaced persons to return to their homes. For another example, the Subcommission on Prevention of Discrimination and Protection of Minorities also affirmed the rights of refugees and displaced persons to return in safety and dignity to their country of origin or within it to their place of origin of choice. Important is Annexure 7 of Dayton Peace Agreement for Bosnia and Herzegovina, which came into 14 December 1995, which provides for the rights of more than 2 million refugees and IDPs to freely return to their homes of origin. And this peace agreement restored to them property which was deprived in the course of hostilities, and also provided a compensation for the property which could not be restored. This DPA was also endorsed by UN Security Council resolution of 15 December 1995. As I said in beginning, that in recent years Asia and Africa are being seen to be one of the most contributing to IDP, and this region has to address the rights of IDP in more robust way, and that require the Africa Union to adopt a convention which is known as a Kampala Convention. The full full title of the convention is African Union Convention for the Protection and Assistance of Internally Displaced Persons in Africa 2009. It transforms the UN guiding principles on IDP. This brought a robust enforcement mechanisms, though it also covers broadly the comprehensive in a way that UN guiding principle was there. It also covers all three phases which has been mentioned in UN guiding principles of IDP. As I said, that UN guiding principles provided or asked nations to establish a national law to operationalize the UN guiding principles, for which a project could be seen by which has developed or identified some of the important issues to be considered by the nations while addressing the issues of IDP. The Brookings Institution with the University of Bern has developed a framework for situation of internal displacement in 2005, and this framework, if you look into it, it identified 12 key steps for the governments to or institutions of the states to take in responding to internal displacement. One is, first is prevent displacement and minimizing its adverse effect, raise national awareness of the problems, collect data on the number and coordination of IDPs, support training on our rights of IDP, create a legal framework upholding the rights of IDP, develop a national policy on internal displacement, designate institutional focal points on IDP, encourage national human rights institutions to address IDP, ensure the protection of IDP in decision making, support durable solution, allocate adequate resource to the problem, cooperate with the international community with national capacity is insufficient. Now, let me sum up with this all issues which has been discussed in last 30 minutes. Now, there was a modest attempt which through that basically what you can say UN guiding principles. Now, recently a more hard legal regimes through the Kampala Convention is expected to reinforce the rights of IDP. Thank you.